How's it going, tankers? It's Matt and welcome back to another quick tank review, and today we're going to be looking at the T28 Prototype, one of two Tier 8 American tank destroyers. This one has a turret and the other one doesn't. That's the biggest difference between the two, and you could also argue that the T28 is slightly heavily armoured than this thing, but in terms of Tier 8 tank destroyers, this is one of the most heavily armoured in the game. Right, so we're going to talk about the armour figures first, then we'll go through the gun, packages, stuff like that. Have a look at my equipment setup and crew skills, and then some nice ace tanker gameplay at the end. A really special replay in terms of what happens. It's not a massive damage game. It's just one of the most fun games I've had in a very long time, thanks to a certain subscriber. So thank you very much. Right, on to it then. So what does the Xbox say? Well, from the start, I'm just going to say the side armour and the rear armour is absolute garbage, but the frontal armour, including the turret, is exceptional for a Tier 8 tank. So it says 203 the front of the turret and the front of the hull. Well, as ever, the front of the hull is not so easy as that. This big flat plate at the front is the 203mm, but because it's at quite a steep angle, it actually brings up the lowest numbers on the tank. You're going to need 215, 220 pen to pen that reliably. So IS3, things like that, you can have a stab at the front plate on this thing, no dramas, and if you roll decent with your pen, you're going to go for it. Right, so the front of the turret, 203mm, yes it is, that big flat plate behind the gun mantlet. That is 203mm thick, not very well angled, so again, if you've got 210, 215 pen, and you're accurate, you can pen the turret on this thing all day long. Don't bother aiming for the gun mantlet, it's a big wedge of spaced armour. There is some holes behind it where there is no extra armour, but you're going to have to be very accurate again. So again, 215 pen, you can aim just above the gun and go through the gun mantlet and probably knock the gun out as well, but risky shot, probably better off to go for those nice big flat pieces, which kind of are in your face for you to get. Anyway, so back to the front of the hull. We've talked about the front plate. Let's talk about the other areas. These areas here, you see there's a track either side and there's one in the middle. They're 152mm and the lower plate is 152mm, but because the angle is that much greater than the front plate, the numbers are, well, for the lower plate, with no angling of the tank, 290 minimum, and the numbers above 300 plus. So again, if you don't have 215, 220 pen, you're going to have a lot of dramas dealing with this tank. You're going to have to aim for one specific area, and that is the bow gun right here. That is 152mm as well, but because it's very, very, very flat, it only brings up numbers from 152 to roughly sort of 160, depending on the angling. So that little one area there, if you're in a lower tier tank or you don't have any premium ammunition, that is your only chance really, if you don't have 210, 215 pen. Yeah, so from the front, this tank is an absolute beast. Right, so again, side armour's crap, arse armour's crap. It's only like 51, 52mm, so people can pen you with HE, especially T29s. I love doing it to T28 prototypes. Anyway, side of the turret's a little better. You will bounce shots off for that, even when you're not pointing at people. The back end's not so good, and the ammo racks are there, so just be careful of that. So all in all, a very strong Tier 8 tank destroyer from the front, not so good from the rest of the areas. Right, so that's enough of that. So yeah, don't really angle this thing. I do angle it just a slight bit, or wiggle, just to try and throw people off of that bow gun. Anyway, on to the packages then. Right, so it starts off pretty crap. It's slow, and the 90mm is just not good enough. When you get to this point though, the 105 does work. Any of you that did catch the Dicky Baby episode before I removed it would see I did about 5.5k damage with this gun at this point as well. It spits bullets, the reload's really good, but it doesn't have the accuracy and penetration to deal with equal and higher tier targets at range, but it's great for hoovering up lower tiers. Right, so then you get to here. This is where you get the bigger gun, you get a bigger engine and some better tracks. It's still asshole slow, but you have this huge 120mm gun and it just rips people to pieces, and I'll show you in some ace tanker gameplay in a minute. Right, so let's have a look at the stats. So 510 horsepower is not particularly great considering the tank is actually quite heavy because it's fairly well armoured from the front. Yeah, so don't expect to get anywhere very quick, and that's one of the main problems with this tank. If there's a clean-up to be done, you ain't going to be doing it because all of the light tanks, mediums are going to get there before you. I've had quite a few games where I've spent most of the game driving and done nothing, or by the time I've got to the action, all the friendlies are dead and you're next and you get killed. So there we go. But in the right situation, with this top gun, 6 rounds a minute nearly with 120mm, that's roughly, I run Cola, we'll talk about that in a minute, it's 8 seconds for 400 alpha. That is not bad at all. Penetration is excellent at 248 with the AP pen, meaning you very rarely need to fire the premium with this tank, and you don't get much of a buff to the pen either. It's only 297 with the APCR and still 400 alpha. Do carry a couple of HE for dealing with Borsigs mainly. You can two-shot a Borsig if you're lucky, or, you know, if they've got a bit of health off them already, you can two-shot them pretty much guaranteed with HE. Right, aim time is pretty damn good at 2.29, but accuracy isn't great at 0.38, but again, you have the pen to not have to worry about weak spots so much, so this gun does work quite nicely in my opinion. Right, traverse speed, bad, 20 degrees a second, and combined with a turret traverse of 18 degrees a second, being flanked in this thing is one of your main drawbacks. Right, last thing then, view range, 380 meters, not bad. I still run binos, just for that pure maximum view range power of being able to pick up light tanks at range, because if they get near you and they get round you, a good light tank driver will just end your life well, not instantly. They're going to get around the back of you, keep hitting your engine, set you on fire, and there's nothing you can do about it unless you're near some solid cover. Anyway, so that's enough about that. So the packages aren't that bad. If you can get off that first package quite quickly, this tank becomes usable very, very quickly. Right, on to the equipment choice for this then. I went for the standard bino and camonet setup for being sneaky in tier 9 and 10 games, because a tier 9 tank will make quick work of you, and some tier 10s will make you disappear in one shot. So yeah, tier 9 and 10 games, best to stay further towards the back and be a bit of a camper. Yeah, but in tier 8 games, as I'm going to show you, the pretty good rate of fire with Cola and a rammer means you can chew up lower tiered and equal tier tanks very, very quickly. Anyway, so crew skills, fairly basic for me. 6th Sense, you want that definitely on this tank. Brothers in Arms to bring up the reload. Camo and muffled shot I've gone for. The camo value of this tank is not great, but with camo and muffled shot you can pull off some stealth shots pretty well. Snapshot, you know, aim time's good, but anything you can do to improve that when you've got a turreted tank, it can help you. Repairs, if you get your tracks taken off, you want your tracks back on as quickly as possible to stop people getting around the back of you. And as you can see, I'm training clutch braking now. Again, if someone's trying to get around you, anything you can do to stop them might keep you in the game just a bit longer to get a bit more damage done. On from there though, I think, let's have a look what else is left. Firefighting, this thing burns really easy. The view range skills are good, but with Cola and binos, your view range is good when you're moving, and it's very, very good when you're not moving. So what else would I choose? Preventative maintenance, smooth ride, because this thing's so slow you can fire on the move. Off-road driving, again, that will help with your track traverse on soft and medium ground. And from there, probably track mechanic as well. That would probably be about it for your main skills anyway. So if you've got more than 6 at this point, you're doing a lot better than I am anyway. Right, so last thing I want to talk about, supplies. Plenty of AP. I only carry a few APCR rounds and I don't use them that often. Tier 10 games, yeah, but 248 pen is enough. Yeah, and of course I run Cola instead of a fire extinguisher. Very, very, very risky. The T28 Prototype burns, it's like tinder wood. Someone hits you, you burn. But I have found with this tank, when you get into an opportunity to do some damage, you need to do it as quickly as possible. Because the thing's so slow, you can't chase tanks, you can't change flanks, you can't relocate easily. So when you get that opportunity to do that damage, you need to do it as quickly as possible. So I run Cola and I risk getting set on fire, and I have been set on fire a few times, but for me the Cola outweighs the fires. Right, last thing then. Oh shit, wrong button. Hit points 1150, not great. It's a tier 8 tank destroyer. None of them have great hit points, you know what I mean. Like I said, tier 10s will vaporise you in one shot. Tier 9s can two shot you most of the time. Yeah, so just be careful, and most tier 9s and above have enough pen to just hit you anywhere in the front, so just be a bit careful. Right, so that's it fellas, just a quick look round. Very well armoured for the front. For fighting equal and lower tiers, not so good against tier 9s, 10s, you will pull off some lucky bounces. And it's all about the gun, baby. Bang bang bang, 120mm. Some nice American destruction. Right, on to a bit of Ace Tanker gameplay now with one of you subscribers.
We've got enemies incoming. Either take them out or capture their base. Let's go.
Right, here we go then. Top tier matchmaking on Muravanka. Not bad at all. Like this map. Yeah, someone shot someone in the ass. That is Pocket Lizard NL, subscriber. He's in the tier 6 Russian heavy tank T150. Not a bad tank, but still a tier 6. So just the fact of the result he manages to pull out, and most importantly, just the cover he gave me from being flanked allowed me to do what I do in this game. That's one of the main reasons we managed to hold off this whole flank. Just the two of us really. There is a few other people come over here, but if you watch them in a minute, they're going to do the old YOLO and they're going to die. So there's a T-44 up there and some sort of light tank, can't see what it is. By the time I get there they're going to be pretty much dead. What's this guy here as well? KB2 with the 107. Pocket Lizard's giving me a push, and you can see even with a push this thing is really slow. It's this main drawback. Also, I didn't talk about as well the gun arcs. If you look on the left hand side of the bottom of the screen where my tank is, if you look towards the back of the tank, towards where my speed is, you can see there's two white lines sticking out the back of the tank. The turret is not fully traversable. It's about, well, I think it's about 60 odd degrees at the back. You cannot shoot over the back of this tank. So if a light tank gets behind you, it's very easy for them to be an absolute pain in the arse. Right, there we go. Artillery just misses, so we know he's firing over here. Bounce my first shot. And this building there is going to troll me more than the rest of the enemy team, to be honest. Right, so what am I doing? I'm poking out an angle, keeping my frontal armour. Guys are probably over the back of those buildings there, but sniping from the ridge line. I'm using my turret. There we go, building trolls me. Again, using my turret to shoot round at the guys to the right. So I'm keeping my frontal armour to the biggest threat. There we go, kill the M445 pretty quick.
Dropping target.
Come on. Just let this one aim in, and it hits the building again. Trolled 3 times by building. First couple of times I didn't aim in fully, but still, they always went left. They could have just gone right. Right, Centurion 1 comes around. I think he actually damages me there, did he? Or did I already take that damage?
Ready to fire.
Right, so the big thing with this tank is keeping your targets to the front. You see, I'm backing off till that threat's dealt with. Because if I tried to go around this corner with an M6 to my left, he's got a 90mm, he can shave off just under a quarter of my health with each shot. Well, so there we go, bounce to the side of the turret. Must be a lower tier tank over there. And we're already 3 tanks behind. So now it's just me and Pocket Lizard left on this flank versus probably at least a third of the enemy team. Sturmill comes over and bounces, put a nice shot into his lower flank. Pocket Lizard puts another shot into him, so hopefully he's a one-shot for the next time he pokes over. ARL 44 down. T150 comes in and goes for Rocket Lizard, so I have to give him a hand. Without Pocket Lizard here, I am screwed. I leave the guy at one shot. I trust Pocket Lizard to finish him off, and I go for the Sturmill, who bounces again because he's not fully upgraded. If he had been fully upgraded, that wouldn't have gone that way, I don't think. There we go, nice hit on the other M6, set him on fire.
Target locked.
Still burning, I finish him off anyway. Right, so there we go. Just myself in a tier 8 tank destroyer and Pocket Lizard in a tier 6 heavy managed to hold off this entire flank. Oh no, right, Centurion is flanking now. I try to eye up a shot. Now I turn my armour towards him because I think there is no more threats off to the other way.
Enemies looking right at us.
Right, there we go, he pokes and I fire and miss, but luckily I bounced him anyway. I go up this side of the hill, Pocket Lizard's gone right, we should be able to pinch this guy and get him killed. Right, we can see he's running, so no dramas about worrying about artillery. But the enemy's team still have a Ferdinand, so I have to be a bit careful. I don't know where he is yet. I don't think he's even been spotted yet. Right, there's the Centurion. Quick snapshot, and he is dead. Right, there we go, fellas. 5 kills. Quite a lot of pens, but obviously there was a fire there, so that gave quite a few tickets. And now, what I was saying in the garage about a clean-up. We're not winning by miles, it's not technically a clean-up yet. But that's the last shot I fire in this game because of the speed of this tank. Like I said, if you find yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time, you're going to end up doing nothing. I'm actually going to skip the rest of this out. I spend the whole rest of this game driving, and I don't get any more done. The lights and the mediums, go over there, clean them up quick, end of game.
Fire on target.
Right, so this is what you'll be doing in the T28 Prototype. Certain situations, you'll get there just too late, and no more damage done, no Top Gun, but a nice result anyway. And a big thank you to Pocket Lizard there for watching my ass. Couldn't have pulled off that flank without you. He was just in a tier 6 heavy, but he did his job. Well, so there we go, 4k damage, block 2300, Mastery Ace tanker, still 2 gun marks and a steel wall. Happy days. Just over 5,000 experience for the double, no ops on that either, and that was enough for the Ace tanker. Like I said, not a huge damage game, but it really showed you what you can do with 120mm. You can rip tanks to pieces as long as you've got somebody watching your ass, which is great. Thank you very much, Pocket Lizard. And pull off a nice win there, which probably wouldn't have gone that way if we didn't hold off. Just me and a T150. Well, there we go, fellas. Hope you enjoyed the review. T28 Prototype, it's not that bad, it's just very situational. And sorry to anybody else who's messaged me lately, I can't reply, I'm on a ban because I'm naughty. Anyway, cheers fellas, give it a like if you did, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you later.